What is up? Welcome to the second episode of the WMMA Today podcast with Steve and Drake. On this edition, we will be talking about the UFC 250 main event between Amanda Nunes, the GOAT, and Felicia Spencer. Who's next for Amanda Nunes? What's next for Felicia Spencer? There was Irene Aldana and Holly Holm. Invicta 40's coming up, and some more stuff going on in the world of women's MMA. So let's go.
MMA is just picking up in general.
Yeah, for sure. So much shit's going on right now. All right, let's start with the UFC 250 main event. The featherweight title. Amanda Nunes defeated Felicia Spencer via unanimous decision. It was a fucking mauling, to be honest. It was a one-sided fight.
That is the best way to describe it. And I mean, it's not surprising, but at the same time, it's like, it was so one-sided. They're like, okay, I mean, I didn't expect it to be that bad, you know?
Yeah.
Because we both thought that she'd be more competitive than that, right? We didn't pick her to win. It's hard to pick against Nunes, obviously. She shows you why every time she goes out there. But my goodness, it was just a no contest. Like, you saw after the first round, maybe the middle of like the second, you're like, okay, I don't think there's anything Felicia can do. I don't know if it's just one of those things where, like, I don't think she has any of the tools. Because in the first round, Nunes got her down right and, kind of controlled things like from the halfway point, if I'm remembering correctly. And Felicia couldn't really do anything. Like, okay, well, we're seeing that her best chance is kind of going away instantly, So it's like, man, it was so bad though. And okay, so I want to talk about this like right away though. As we can see, we got the scores here, which I think are absolutely awful. That only two judges gave 110-8, and then I mean this doesn't matter, right? But from a judging standpoint, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? How did I think it was Sal D'Amato, no 10-8s? Are you fucking high, dude? Are you insane? What?
Yeah, I mean, you can give just about every round a 10-8.
Yeah, no, I did. I gave every round except for, I think it was round 2. Because Felicia, that was her best round. Obviously didn't win it, but she didn't get completely smoked in every other round. It was just not even close in those other ones. And dude, round 4? How is that? How does he not give that a 10-8 win? She was literally going to be submitted if the time didn't run out.
Okay, so you want to talk about round 4? How did the fucking fight not stop at round 4? After round 4?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah. Before going into the 5th even, I was very surprised the doctor didn't stop that.
Yeah, right. The doctor absolutely should have stopped it. Felicia Spencer had nothing. She was doing nothing. She was getting fucking whooped on. It was a street fight. Amanda Nunes was the guy who was beating the shit out of the little guy in that fight.
Yeah, it was hard to watch, dude. I mean, she's so tough, and like that it was to her, own detriment, right? It was
100%.
Like, man,
like
it's
the thing that you can say about Felicia Spencer is she's goddamn fucking tough. You cannot take toughness away from Felicia Spencer. She'll always have that. Where she goes from here, we don't know, obviously, but you can't say she's not tough.
No, definitely not. I mean, heart for days. Even what was it? In the final minute, the very final minute, Herb brought in the doctor to check the cut, right?
Yeah.
And we're all at this point, we were like, okay, this went on longer than we already thought it should have. We're like, all right, just save her a minute. But she's still like, no, I'll finish it out this last minute here. We're like, okay, fucking warrior. But like, man, I don't know. It was definitely, it brings up the conversation of like the towel again, which that's such a weird topic, because it's like, I totally get both sides where you're kind of disrespecting your fighter by doing it, because they want to go out there and fight till they literally can't anymore. But then at the same time, it's like, you want to protect them and make sure they can fight again and still, like, they're not losing themselves really in this fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I feel like Deontay Wilder, the former
yeah.
boxing heavyweight champion, said it best after his last fight against Tyson Fury. Let me die on my own shield. And I think that that's what a lot of these fighters want. We saw it with Anthony Smith. Let me die on my own shield. All these fighters they don't want the fight to be stopped because of their corner. But the corner is literally there to protect the fighter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. And I mean, even like the doctors though, I mean, I was very impressed by, the hematoma she had. They fixed that very well.
Oh
That
man,
was amazing.
like everybody, DC and Rogan and Anik, they were all saying, "Holy shit, look at the hematoma!" And we were all thinking it because we saw
Yeah.
it at the same time on the screen. And then all of a sudden, they put the press on, and it was gone. When she went out for that round, for that
Yeah.
next round, it was fucking gone. Like, holy shit, they fixed her up.
No, yeah, that was incredible. That was a very good job by the doctors. But that though, I didn't think stop it because of the hematoma or like the
No.
visual damage, the cuts. I thought just the damage accumulated.
Dude,
You know?
She was literally every time that it was taken to the ground, she was getting fucking beat on. Every time
Yeah.
that Nunes would throw a fucking jab, it would fucking snap her. It would snap her head back. Like, I mean, she had nothing. She had nothing to go with Amanda Nunes.
It was brutal. It's very, very brutal. It reminds me of as it was kind of happening because I was comparing it in my head a little bit to Usman and Woodley, but different levels of brutal,
Yeah.
but complete shutouts in both. Like I'm pretty sure I also had that 50-41, 4-10-8s in that fight as well because
Yeah.
Usman dominated as well. But yeah, that's how good that Amanda Nunes is because we know how good Felicia Spencer is too, and it still shows that she's good that she was even able to survive 8 rounds against the two greatest fighters ever, right?
Yeah.
Nunes and Cyborg. And before we get into who's next for both of them, I think I have maybe a hot take. Let you tell me though, okay? Because after seeing that and everything, it just made me think really hard about how good Nunes is, and I think that I might have her behind GSP or neck and neck with GSP for the GOAT now. Like overall, man. I mean, you think about it, she's literally beat every UFC champion that there's been from flyweight to featherweight. She's beat every Bellator featherweight champion, Bud and Cyborg, and convincingly, like she's insane, dude.
I don't think I can get on that train.
No, it's too much for you.
Well, I mean, I've seen what you've seen what GSP has done in his career, who he's beaten, the way that he's beaten them, and taken a ton of damage in his fights, and still came out on top.
Yeah.
John Jones has dominated fighters, the best. He's running through divisions. He's absolutely just running through divisions. I mean, he's talking about going to heavyweight because what else is there for him to do at light heavyweight? Fedor Emelianenko, not enough respect is put on his name. He's fucking amazing. His earlier years, MMA years, I really wish people would pay attention to because he was just a fucking phenom. Like he was not
a mythical figure, right?
Like literally a Russian myth. We couldn't believe what we were seeing with this guy. He was just this soft-spoken, weird sweater wearing, bad motherfucker in the cage. Just running through people. And then, of course, he had his losses at the end of his career. But I don't really count those losses at people's ends because that's not their prime. I mean, you can take account. But Amanda Nunes is, for me, maybe I can't put her above Fedor. I can't put her above John. I can't put her above GSP, but I definitely can put her at 4.
Yeah.
I don't
Top
have
5.
a problem putting her above Demetrius Johnson at this point.
Two-way champ, you know.
Two-way champion, right? I can put her at 4 for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's not done yet. I hope. I mean, we hope.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
We will see.
And then what's next for her? Well,
yeah.
All right.
Perfect segue.
What's
Perfect
next for her?
segue.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, you know, as it was happening, we were, you know, being presented with this question by Rogan and, you know, pretty much Rogan, but, you know, DC and Anik, they hopped on, of course.
Yeah.
Who's next? Who could possibly be next? And I'm like, come on, you guys, put some respect on Aldana's name. I think that she earned it, but you know that we'll get to that later. So that's not next.
Kind of made me mad.
So initially, though,
when I saw
a little bit frustrating.
When I saw that news this morning or today, this afternoon, I was a little bit. I got a little bit grumpy with it.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I got some thoughts as well. But so initially, as that was happening, I was like, all right, Aldana, obviously. So it's at bantamweight, you know, in my opinion, Aldana, and then featherweight, Megan. Obviously, who else?
Yeah.
So there's.
Okay, let's talk about Megan Anderson really quick, because they were completely not giving her respect.
Yeah.
I know that
nobody really. None of the contenders.
I know that she just came off one win, but it was a fucking great win.
She's got 2 now.
Oh, is it 2?
2 now.
Okay. But her last one was a great win, right? We could have seen Megan Anderson in the same position that we saw Felicia Spencer in, a title fight, because they were on the same card. Felicia Spencer just got picked.
Yeah, exactly.
So Megan Anderson came out and said, "Hey guys, what about me?" Fuck. She tweeted out like, "What about me?" And I agree. Like, what about Megan Anderson at this point? I mean, it's either, to me, it's either put Megan Anderson, give her a title fight, or fucking get rid of that goddamn division altogether. I mean, because who else is there?
That's the thing. So now that Aldana is currently, you know, going to be busy for the next until August, it feels like it has to be, you know, Megan or Nunes waits to see what happens in that fight. Which that, you know, she could do that because of the baby coming. Not sure how far along everything is. And then the other one,
I think they were saying
you know,
December. I think they were saying December.
Oh, okay. So a good while then. But still, if you're going to wait for that, then it could, it depends. It depends. Then, you know, there's the Shevchenko option that's been thrown around, but Dana obviously doesn't seem interested. I don't really care for that, honestly, even though it would be 2 champions now, and the last fight was very close. I feel like Nunes would probably win more convincingly in a trilogy fight. And I mean, she's already beat her twice, even though I did score that last fight for Shevchenko. I don't know, man. I just think that Nunes is showing so much more, you know, impressive skill set and dominance with each fight. Not to say Shevchenko isn't, but it looks a lot different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The dominance looks very different. And then
100%.
Just having seen them fight before twice already, and Nunes was able to edge things out in more amounts of time. It's like, why would that change this time around? I don't know. I don't really. That's an option, maybe. Doesn't seem like the UFC cares for it. An option, but feels like Megan is the most logical right now. Now that they fucking made this other fight for Aldana.
I mean, do we even know? Can we even trust what the UFC and Dana White wants anymore? They say one thing and then they do another thing, or do the same thing.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if they fucking made the Amanda Nunes Shevchenko fight. I wouldn't be surprised at all. It's a big fight. They need a big fight. They need big fights right now.
Yeah.
What's next for Shevchenko in her division? Not a whole lot. She's like
JoJo.
She's kind of like John Jones. She's kind of like John Jones running through the division. I mean, yeah, JoJo Calderwood, they were going to fight, but what's the bigger fight for Shevchenko? Calderwood or a trilogy fight against the GOAT?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
The
surprised
big
to make that fight.
the biggest thing about that would be, it's probably not possible, but if Nunes could make 125 and go for triple champ.
Oh my God, that is that would be such a tough way. And
Yeah.
poor Wiley would get worked anyway. I mean, could you imagine Nunes's power against Wiley?
Well, that's not even something that's should be talked about. But yeah, that would
No,
be.
I mean didn't they mention that on the broadcast? Like what?
Whaley versus Shevchenko, not Whaley versus
Oh,
Nunes. Yeah, it's a lot
I
different.
mean, honestly, I don't even pay attention to the broadcast that often. I kind of just watch the fight.
Getting worse. But
Yeah.
as for Felicia, though, I do think that she's kind of got one option as well, right? I mean, you tell me first, though. What you think?
Yeah, I mean,
Weird spot.
yeah, there's not a whole lot. I think that she should go to Bellator.
All the featherweights should, if we're being real. We have talked about this. That's been one of the main topics across WMA Today's history. Everybody go to Bellator if you're 145 pounds. So
Literally, that's like the
reoccurring theme.
Yeah, that's our theme is go to Bellator if you're 145 or above.
But
I mean, what's next for her? She's not going to fight Megan again. Maybe she is, because we don't know what's next for Amanda Nunes, and if she waits for, it seems like that Amanda Nunes wants to go back and forth between 145 and 135. If she fights 135 again this year, and then she has a baby, who knows how long she's going to be out for after the baby's born.
Exactly.
So we might actually see Felicia Spencer and Megan Anderson again.
I'm sure that we will see them rematch at some point.
But I'm talking about like their next. I'm talking about their next fights.
Interim title.
Well,
no.
I don't know about.
I think
interim title.
Shout out to Kaposa on Twitter at Grobaka Hitman. He said Leah Letson for Spencer.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what she's doing right now. She's been out for a while and she was going to go back to bantamweight, but she's said she's okay with, either one. But that seems like really the only other person, unless you want to do Spencer versus like Dumont, who Megan just beat. But I bet Dumont's going to go to bantamweight as well, because that was her featherweight debut against Megan. So it's like, meh. But
yeah, I mean, these featherweights, they're in a really bad position right now. The UFC has not helped them at all.
No, it would be. So I said this before UFC 250 started, but best case scenario for featherweight would have been Felicia winning, because it legitimizes an actual featherweight in the eyes of people who aren't as familiar with them or think that they suck. Because that's the two big perceptions among people. Really, is that the featherweights suck, the shallow.
Well, it is. I mean, they don't.
Yes,
they don't suck, but it's definitely shallow. I mean, fuck, the rankings don't even exist. It's just Amanda Nunes.
This is true. So, yeah, it would have been best for like Nunes or Cyborg to not be around. Obviously, you had to have Cyborg around. Could have went without having Nunes do what she's doing, but it's really cool to see she's doing what she's doing.
Yeah, it's
awesome. Yeah, well, they didn't even build it in the first place, this. So it's like it's the reoccurring theme. It's just like they still haven't even really tried.
No,
they put in minimal effort.
How long?
And they can keep lying about it.
That division been open?
3 years,
and they haven't fucking done anything to help these
mind blowing.
Fighters. It's worse than the flyweights.
Oh, by far.
Like we were talking, like there was talk about the flyweight division being gone. No flyweight division. Remember just last year?
Yeah.
This is worse than that. they're doing worse by them.
Always been.
Yeah. They're just not. They're not bringing anybody in.
It's frustrating. It is frustrating. I mean, it's also it's the lack of care to try, and then Bellator, doing their thing. And I've always felt that it's like a competing with Bellator thing. Don't want to let them get the edge because that's where everybody will go. That's where everyone should go. That's where most people have been going.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably the most frustrating topic for me when it comes to non business things like fighter pay or anything. But when it comes to the inner world of MMA, just the whole UFC featherweight thing is just so upsetting to me. But life goes on.
I mean, how do you think that these fighters feel? They're like, dude.
Exactly.
They're like, dude, give me a fucking fight. I mean, give me somebody new. We're seeing like recycling going on. We're gonna start seeing recycling.
Yeah. Speaking of recycling, though.
All right. So Irene Aldana and Holly Holm, the main event at a UFC Vegas card in August 1st. A bantamweight matchup, probably a number one contender, I would think. I originally thought that Irene Aldana was the number one contender anyway, but here comes Holly Holm. And here we are with another fucking possibility of a Holly Holm title fight. If she ends up beating Irene Aldana, talk about frustration.
If she loses, she's getting the title shot.
Good riddance.
Irene is screwed.
Yeah. Either way, I mean, poor Irene's fucked.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. What is it? We just got all these title fights announced today. All of these title fights that were announced today, except for Usman and Burns, there's a loser in. There's a person coming off a loss in all those fights except for Usman and Burns.
That's wild, dude.
It is very insane.
It's wild what they're doing. I mean, like the Jose Aldo thing. As much as I love Jose Aldo, he's
after this weekend. I mean, God.
Right. I mean, come on. You got to give respect to fighters that are fighting currently and winning.
Yeah, seriously, and so the thing that I do like about this fight being made, which there's not much because I much would have preferred, for Irene just to get the title shot, like we think she deserved, and many others did as well. I like that she is getting a main event and kind of some more spotlight before that to get people a little bit excited and kind of showcase why she should be in this spot. And against Holly, who, everybody knows at this point, and who Irene could very well, I don't want to say style on, but I think she could knock her out. They can both knock each other out, but I mean,
Holly Holm's striking is very good. I mean, it is. Does she deserve to be in another number one contender fight? No, she doesn't. No.
Like how many times are we gonna what's the saying? Replay the same. I don't know, replay the same movie or something like that, I mean, you just cannot. She lost. She got head kicked by Nunes a fight ago. One fight ago.
Literally, a fight ago, yeah. Like, are we really going to see? I mean, the thought of seeing Holly Holm in another title fight is aggravating to me. And I actually like Holly Holm as a fighter. Yeah. I'm just...
And a person. I mean, you can't not.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and a person. It's just like, okay, move on.
The thing that so I was talking to somebody, people were tweeting at me when this was made. If Holly's going to get another title shot because she's had how many? Let me look here on my notes. Okay, let's say since losing to Misha Then she's got the Germain. So there's one Cyborg, Nunes. So only 3, but you got to think they were all not very deserved. Um, so she should have to beat like the entire top 5. Like, not even kidding.
Yeah.
Because when you've lost 4 title fights since you were champion, that was excluding the Misha one in that, what I just said. It's like, man, and she's, what is it? I just deleted my thing, but like 3-6 since then. It's just, and she hasn't been on a winning streak since then. So I don't know. It's kind of like, it feels like a big joke at this point, doesn't it? Like a big joke that they're just playing on us.
It's pretty wild.
But
it's pretty wild. I think that Irene Aldana should get a title fight without having to fight Holly Holm. I mean, she deserves a title fight the next time Amanda Nunes decides to fight.
Yeah, and they should have made Holly have to go through Aspen Ladd like she avoided before getting gifted her shot at Nunes.
Yeah, I mean, Aspen Ladd's another one. She's coming up, and Holly Holm should have to fight her.
Yeah, and at this point, man, just after seeing Nunes' continued dominance, specifically on like the ground and stuff, I just don't see Aspen having a chance at the moment. I mean, her striking, I think, needs to get on a level. When you look at all of the strikers lined up, obviously Nunes has already beat GDR twice now. Yeah. First time, well, I mean, I guess both fights were by similar victories, but
yep.
The most lethal strikers waiting for her are the 2 top contenders in the divisions, Megan and then Aldana. People with knockout power and striking that can at least hang better than, Spencer. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
The problem with matchups with Amanda Nunes is she's all around a badass. So we're always going to see matchups with her kind of go her way, no matter who it is. But you have to give these other girls chances who haven't had chances yet, rather than I'll say it again, recycling. That's the one thing that I hate about the UFC is the recycling that we're seeing lately. Like, did we really have to see Volkanovski and Holloway too?
Not now.
No, we didn't. As great of a champion as Max Holloway is and was, Volkanovski should fight somebody else because of how dominant he was in that fight. Max had nothing for him.
Yep. No, I totally agree. But that's just going to the well, right? That's what they're doing. Going back to the well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's obviously going to be tough to beat Nunes. Like those 2, Aldana and Megan. Yep. I think that make things fun on the feet. It just depends on if they can avoid being taken down, which is why.
They have to avoid the takedown. I mean, once Amanda Nunes is on you, she's fucking on you and she's mauling you. It's Habib-like, where she just fucking doesn't let up.
Kind of effortless.
Right.
A little bit.
Yeah. She's that damn good, where you're talking about Habib and Amanda Nunes being about the same on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, people don't give her enough credit for that because she knocks you out, which is shows how good she is.
They're just used to we're just used to seeing Amanda Nunes wreck girls on the feet. No, she's fucking legit on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so Invicta 40. Wow. Invicta came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they did. I was just thinking the other night, too. I was like, when is Invicta going to come back? And then I wake up, I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
All right, so July 2nd in Kansas City, Kansas, of course. That's their home. So we will see the main event, Emily Ducote and Juliana Lima, which is a great fight. That's actually a fun one, I think. I'm pretty high in Ducati though, so
So when I saw this card initially, I was like, I didn't really feel too much of anything except for, oh, sweet, Invicta. But that was kind of just it, you know. And then I thought to myself, I was like, okay, I know this is quarantine card, pandemic card. Obviously, if you look at the champions right now, you know, Murata's over in Japan,
yeah, they're all away,
uh, Porto's down in Brazil.
right?
Sorensen, she's got no opponents. She's in America, but she has no opponents. Stolyarenko, who just won the bantamweight titles in Lithuania. So all the champions are either out of country or don't have challengers.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah, the atomweight title's vacant still. It's
For
kind
the
of
atom
like
weight. I mean, but that Alicia Zapatella and Lindsey Van Zant fight,
that's the
I
fight
wouldn't
I'm most looking forward to.
I wouldn't be mad if they made that for the title. But it doesn't look like that they're doing that. So maybe a contender fight. Maybe this is a contender fight to see who will.
Yeah, I think that that could be the case because you look at Lindsay, she's coming off of the Reina loss right in the rematch. I think she hasn't had a fight since then. I don't think so. And then Zapatella, I don't have her record up at the moment, but I think she's rebounded since losing to Kana in Ryzen.
Yeah. She won her last fight.
Okay, yeah, she fought on the last Invicta card, whichever one
Yeah.
it was, right?
Yep.
And yeah, got back in the win column, solid win there. So yeah, no, I think this is a really good fight. It's a good, solid one for the division. You know, these are two top
I like
15
that
atom weights.
I like
Top
that
15
fight.
atom weights.
It'll
be really good.
It's gonna be a really good fight. I
Yeah.
really like the atomweight division as a whole.
Of course.
They're exciting girls to watch fight.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah,
extremely high on Alicia Zapatella, so
yeah, and still young too, and I think that
she's only 25.
loss to Kana, it will help her in the long run because it was one of those fights where it came down to the rule set, right? Because it's over in Japan, they're using the global rule set in Ryzen, so not scored by round, but as a whole, Alicia won the first 2 rounds, but got dominated the 3rd round and lost because that's how it works. That's the right decision to be made under those those rules, you know. But if it was in America, she would have won. You saw kind of the shock on her face about it at the end, and you were like, you know, it's a bummer because you know you're not used to this, but that's the right call.
Yeah, she was definitely disappointed in that, but
Yeah.
and it's fair
Yeah, and very good fight too.
because she looked
by the way,
amazing.
against another legit atom weight.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Kana Asakura, who man,
she's a beast.
I know I want to see Kana back in action too. Man, oh my god, that last fight that she had in Bellator. Did you end up catching that one with the
I did.
Kimura? That was one of
Yeah.
the nastiest nastiest Kimuras of all time.
Yeah, I didn't see it live, but I ended up watching it.
Yeah. So atomweight, definitely always good to see any of them in action. Really,
Yeah.
Deanna Bennett is back here against Leonardo. That should be a pretty
I
interesting
think
one.
it's a solid fight. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a solid card all around, given the time that we're in.
Circumstances, yeah.
Like you said, there's no champions to put on these cards. At least we're getting fights,
Yeah.
and they're solid fights.
And, you know, talking about potentially, let's say, the winner of that atomweight fight, too, you know, fighting either, I would imagine they would do Jin versus
Jin,
somebody
yeah,
for the vacant title again. But I don't know. I mean, Jin, she's having that. I don't know if you caught the interview. I think it was with our boy. Shout out to John Yunko. Yeah, I think it was his where she was having has been having like some. I think it was neck issues. I'm trying to remember because this was a while
it was
ago.
her neck.
Which kind of played into making atomweight harder to cut to.
Yep.
And she even, you know, she has always wanted to be in the UFC, always wanted atomweights to be in the UFC and all that. But
Yeah.
it's gotten to the point where, like, okay, maybe strawweight is next. And she even tried to fill in for Rose against Andrade when Rose pulled out the first time.
Mhm.
Like, she hit up McMahon and all them. Like, damn, could you imagine if Jin would have, if that would have happened?
That would have actually been pretty dope, to be honest.
That would have been really.
But also, I mean, she has the neck injury lingering and stuff, and Jessica Andrade is a fucking beast in a tank.
Yeah.
Like, that's a tough fight. but
Yeah, no, definitely. The point was though that like
that she's ballsy enough to take that fight.
that and if these weight cuts though are affecting an injury or a part of your body as serious as the neck, you
Yeah,
should stop doing that weight cut. You know,
yeah.
so puts Jin in question whether or not she'll be at atomweight in the future. With just knowing all that stuff, it's like, all right, give it up. You know, you had a good run. You're one of the best atomweights ever.
Mhm.
So then in that case, you could maybe see Zapatella, Van Zant winner against, Cummins again, who was in that fight. And some people believe won. I have to rewatch it to give a proper score. But yeah, I was to circle back. I was getting out of this featherweight fight here with Chelsea Chandler and Liv Parker. Chelsea Chandler, scrappy, she's the Stockton girl, I believe, unless I'm mixing up somebody.
No, she trains with at the Diaz Academy.
Okay, and then Liv Parker, who's always fun too, and maybe who knows, winner of this could fight Pam. So maybe this could be a card to set up things with what we're working with, going forward for
I like that
Invicta.
fight. That's a fun one, actually.
Yeah. So
And then there's Claire
just
Guthrie
good to
and
see Invicta.
Laura Anderson, and I don't know Ginia Gooden. I'm not familiar with, and Shelby Corin. I'm not familiar with either.
Yeah, I think they might be debuting. I think.
Okay.
So like both pro debuts potentially, at least for Corin, I think. So we'll get to see some first looks at them, but
I mean, we'll see if they add anything. I mean, it says the full fight card, but there could be a seventh card. I know Serena De Jesus tweeted something out about training, and I asked her if she had it. This was even before Invicta announced this card. I asked her if she had a fight coming up, and she said she hasn't heard anything yet.
Yeah. Well, they're figuring it out. It's obviously a unique time, and they don't. It's still a sticky situation. And it did not say in their announcement, at least. I mean, I guess I can look at it right here. I don't think it says like what the venue is. Like, I don't know if they're in the same whatever it's called that they always go to.
Well, I would think that it
no
is
fans, obviously,
because they're in Kansas City. That's literally their home. So I would think that they're in the same place.
It just says overseen by the Athletic Commission, obviously.
Yeah, it doesn't say where.
Yeah, but then no fans, of course. So, yeah, that is that Invicta card, though. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, fights. So, okay, so
exactly.
More fight news. A flyweight bout between Mizuki Inui and Amanda Lemos set for August 22nd. So we're getting cards all the way through, or fights all the way through August now. We went months with, we went literally 2 or 3 months without cards being fought, and now we're getting a plethora of fight announcements. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, and it's definitely just good to see things happening again. And obviously, this one will be a Fight Island card. I'm assuming because Mizuki Japan, and then
I would assume so. But have they said anything past July about Fight Island, which is not an island, by the fucking way? It's not a fucking island. It's I mean, it's an island, but it's not Fight Island. It's fucking Abu Dhabi. For fuck's sake, they fought there before.
UFC 242.
They fought there before.
Such a bummer. Not on the beach.
No.
Yeah.
Dana White said that there is going to be an octagon on the sand, but the fighters won't be fighting on it. In it, they'll be in an arena, which I hope has
what's the point of that?
Great air conditioning blowing.
Yeah, fix that up.
Because last time we saw them in Abu Dhabi, it was fucking hot. That was what for the Habib Poirier fight?
Yes, it was. And all the fighters were not too keen on that. So,
yeah, I mean,
but yeah, as for this fight though,
right.
I'm all right with it. Mizuki was matched with Tisha Torres for one of the cards that got taken. I think it was the Columbus card, got taken out by, the virus, obviously. And now Tisha's got Brianna Van Buren, which is a fun one.
Yeah.
And here's Amanda Lemos. Both of these Lemos rather inactive over, recent periods of time.
Yeah.
One fight
For a
since
fighter
2017.
who was pretty active.
Yeah, exactly. Fought pretty regularly before that. I don't know exactly what happened with her. But yeah, made her debut against Leslie Smith. I think that might have been short notice too, which rough debut, got elbowed into oblivion, then came back late last year to beat Miranda Granger, which that's a big win if you pay attention to Granger. I know we both have been high on her for a good while.
Yeah.
So that was a really good one, especially coming back off of such a layoff. And Mizuki, her last fight was her UFC debut too. She beat Yan and Wu, split decision. Will have almost been a full year from when this next fight will happen. Love watching Mizuki, her last two performances.
She's fun.
Now just getting better at flyweight now. Yeah, I'm not mad at the matchup, especially circumstantially. Should be pretty fun.
I guess
both trying to.
It's good to see Lemos back in action. I mean,
yeah,
especially
after that gap.
It feels like she hasn't fought in forever. I don't know. I don't have it up, but I feel like she hasn't fought forever.
Yeah, that Granger fight was in December, but it feels longer than that, doesn't it?
For some reason, I don't know why. Maybe it was the gap in between that fight and her last one. I don't know.
Yeah, that gap was 2017 to then.
Oh, yeah. So maybe that's what it was. That's why I feel like I haven't seen her in forever.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, not mad at that one.
No, it's a good fight.
So.
Okay, so this Saturday, we were supposed to see Ariane Lipsky and Luana Carolina fight, but due to visa issues and the COVID-19, the fight was moved to Fight Island on July 18th. It's a solid fight. You and I are both very high on Lipsky. She hasn't shown who she is, I guess, in the UFC since she's came to the UFC. She hasn't looked like that violence queen yet.
Yeah, been a bummer. A bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
But
solid fight though.
Yeah, it's really weird that this fight was kind of booked for this Saturday's card in the first place.
Why?
Because
but they knew already.
Both Brazilians.
Yeah, it's so weird. They had the problem with Jose Aldo and Shogun Rua, who were not able to fight on their cards. Literally, why Jose Aldo couldn't fight at UFC 249 was because of restrictions, Brazilian restrictions. Brazilians cannot come in the United States. So why they made this fight to begin with on this weekend's card?
Makes no sense. Makes no sense. That's pretty much the big thing about this piece of news is just like, well, yeah, why did they try and do that in the first place? But yeah, I mean, I think that Caroline just to put a little bit of something on it. I mean, she should be able to bring that violence queen back out of Lipsky. At least I'm hoping, man. I'm really hoping because it's so disappointing so far. But good to see that she did get.
I mean, she was an absolute beast in KSW, like
one of the best flyweights in the world at the time.
Wrecking girls, literally, her name is the Violence Queen, and we have yet to see that in the UFC. Unfortunately,
yeah, we saw it in a glimpse of it in that last fight in the first round,
enough.
But not enough. Never enough.
To remember. Not enough to remember.
Yeah. And if you want to talk about bummers, though, segue to the next piece of news.
Okay, so Melissa Gatto is out this weekend against Maria Agapova because of the same reasons. She's Brazilian. And Hannah Cifers is in after just fighting 2 weekends ago, getting beaten by Mackenzie Dern at UFC. Well, what card was that on? I don't even know.
That was the Burns one.
The Burns, Tyron Woodley. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Man, Gato cannot catch a break, dude. It is insane. She has had, what is this here? 6 fight cancellations since July 2018.
That's wild.
6 and 4 in a row. She was supposed to make her UFC. No, it's not UFC. UFC debut was supposed to be against Toledo Bernardo in March of last year. She got injured, and then she got injured getting ready for her first matchup with Julia Avila for UFC 239, and then visa issues in this one took her out again. Incredibly unfortunate.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, actually.
And the Agapova matchup was going to be a fun one. But instead, we get Hannah Cifers coming in to save the day and try and save her job, essentially.
I would think so. I mean, yeah, it's crazy that she's taken such a short notice fight after being, knee barred?
Yeah, the
first ever
leg lock.
Yeah.
But stylistically, I do think that she has a better chance here. Not to say, though, just to talk about that Dern fight, she was hanging just fine on the feet. It was just that you go to the ground, you got to get out of there as quickly as you possibly can, if you can. And she could not, obviously. But aside from that, she didn't look too horrible in the fight against Dern, while it was on its feet. But Agapova's kind of a killer striker, and she's got great killer instinct. Has been just on. It looks like she's out for vengeance since she lost to Tracy Cortez. Man, I mean, just destroyed Alexa Connors and Marilla Santos.
Yep.
In her last 2 Invicta fights.
It's going to be the same thing in this fight.
Yeah. I think that Cifers' best hope here is to kind of grind it out. You don't want distance. You want to close that gap. But Agapova's got a pretty gnarly clinch too. So she just kind of has to make it ugly and not have very much space in it at all. Yeah. And it sucks because I don't think Cifers is horrible necessarily, and she's obviously a very nice, shy, soft-spoken person. Probably the shyest person I've ever seen, who's not a mute, who's not an actual mute.
Does not want to talk.
Not a big fan of talking, but
on
very country strong. I think she would do a lot better at atomweight, but there's no atomweight division, so I think win or lose, she'd be better off going to Invicta / Ryzen, in an atomweight division. Try that cut and lose a little bit of muscle mass. She'll still be very strong at atomweight. But yeah, man, I think Agapova probably going to get to shine here. Going to get some, keep that hype rolling a bit. I'll say, probably first round TKO, man, if I'm going to make a prediction here.
Yeah, first or second TKO for Agapova. Yeah. I don't see it. I don't see it being going any other way. I don't think that Cifers is enough for Agapova right now. She's tough. Yeah. I mean, she's like Felicia Spencer. They're tough, but are they good enough to win?
Exactly. And Agapova too, this is a flyweight fight too. So Cifers is actually going to be going up probably. Who knows? I don't know how much she even cuts for strawweight because obviously she's not very small. We just talked about her making atomweight.
Yeah.
So she could be like 120 for this fight. Who knows? Agapova is.
At least we know bigger. That she's in fight shape.
That too, yeah.
She had a fight 2 weekends ago.
Yeah. Point there though is Agapova is going to have a very good size advantage.
Yeah.
Just the reach and all that. It's going to be tough, which sucks for somebody like Cifers, but that's the fight game, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Kudos to Hannah Cifers for stepping up though.
Yeah. No, of course. That's the
one thing about these fights. been seeing fighters step up
Yeah,
during
exactly.
while the UFC has made its rebound.
Taking all the opportunities presented. I mean, why
Yeah.
not?
Okay, so a bantamweight fight between Julia Avila and Gina Mazzani, set for UFC Vegas 2, which is a weird hashtag. Um,
That's what
on
they're calling it. It's not the second one. Is the funny thing. Oh,
June
actually,
13th.
no. Oh, it is. No, I forgot that they were in Jacksonville for the first ones. Right. Never
Yeah,
mind. It is the
it is.
second one.
It's the
Wow.
UFC Vegas 2. That's literally their hashtag. UFC Vegas
Mm-hmm.
2.
Yep. Well, is that better than coming up with all the crazy names we were talking about last week? UFC Nevada, UFC Sin City.
I personally like Sin City. I mean, I wouldn't do it for this card, but I would do it for a stat card.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we talked about this matchup last week too, just because it was made because of Gato
Right.
going, or not Gato going out. Who it was Carol Rosa who went out.
Rosa. Uh-huh.
Yeah, Carol Rosa. So yeah, don't have too much to add to it, obviously, because we did talk about it. Think Avila's
Well,
gonna do
who do you
her
have
thing.
winning? Avila, right?
Yeah, Avila by I'll say round 2 ground and pound TKO. So
Yeah, I'm probably the same. I think she puts it on Mazzani.
love me Raging Panda though, so can't wait for that.
Absolutely. Okay, so the greatest main event ever. Flyweight fight between Jessica Ai and Cynthia Calvillo, who is not a flyweight. She's actually a strawweight and ranked number 10 in the strawweight division.
I mean, she's been at flyweight before. She had one flyweight fight, and then she's had some missed weight in the last fight. So I mean, she's on her way. But
No, she's not a legit flyweight.
no, maybe we'll see. We'll see how she.
I mean,
can...
I guess we'll see like how she's carrying her weight. We don't know.
Yeah,
I guess we'll see on Friday night.
She seemed pretty fit for strawweight. You know, like seemed like a pretty solid.
Yeah,
her frame and everything for that division, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see her against obviously a higher touted, ranked flyweight, but also a flyweight who used to be at bantamweight. I actually missed weight in her last fight. I think that might have been an injury related issue because I don't think she'd ever missed weight before that. But it's we can talk about it being the main event all we want, but it's a pretty fun matchup, and 5 rounds makes it a little bit more interesting, I think.
I'm good with it.
Good with it.
It's getting a lot of hate, but I'm good with the fight. I think that they're both game. Jessica, she don't give a fuck who's standing across from her. I mean, she fought. Sure, she got head kicked to hell against Valentina Shevchenko, but here she is back in the main event. Maybe she'll win and finally get on that Joe Rogan Experience podcast.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No,
I don't think Joe wants that. But
yeah,
maybe she will.
As for this fight, I like stylistically, I was thinking earlier today that it's going to be kind of striker versus grappler, but then it's Calvillo isn't that bad of a boxer or striker. I mean, she's got pretty good hands.
Like she really isn't that bad.
It's just that she got completely smoked on the feet in her last fight against Marina Rodriguez, like we were talking about. It's not really fair. It's easy to forget because of kind of the recent performances, and I mean even before that against Courtney Casey, if I'm remembering correctly, that was she utilized her wrestling mostly. So we haven't really seen her. And then the Botello win before that with the submission, where she's been using her grappling much more than her striking since losing to Carla. Which why not use what you're best at? Because before that, she beat we saw her beat Pearl and Amanda Cooper and JoJo, where those were fights where she was able to she was on the feet more than in these last stretch of fights, and looked fine for the most part. So I think that she can definitely hang with Jessica, and maybe she'll even be more powerful because she'll be at flyweight. But I'm pretty sure she'll try to stick to this game plan of using her strength, which is her wrestling and her grappling. And she's very tenacious on the ground, got great killer instinct, which is always great to see. So, yeah, man, it's a pretty compelling one. With this, the size in factor, and then the extra rounds. If anybody's getting a finish, though, I believe it'll be Calvillo for sure. Just because she's proven to be much more of a finisher. So, it's tough. I think that the longer it goes, the more it favors I. But yeah, I mean, I think I can see. I think it'll be close. I think I'm gonna go split for Calvillo, but I don't know. It's a lot tougher when you think about it to pick it.
Wouldn't it be crazy if Jessica I wins and then we see her back in the title fight? Because
I don't think that's happening.
She's the number one ranked flyweight right now.
Yeah, but if she beats
what are they
somebody coming up,
keep putting? She's the number one ranked flyweight.
Yeah, rankings matter, Steve.
They do. That's my hashtag.
To us.
The rankings matter. Rankings matter. That's my official hashtag.
Should
I love it. Should matter. Rankings should matter.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the UFC has always liked Cynthia Calvillo since she made her UFC debut. Because I think that I'm trying to remember if her UFC debut was on short notice when she came in to fight ABC. I think it was. And then fought exactly that month afterward.
Yeah.
In it wasn't the co-main event, but it was right before the co-main event against Pearl Gonzalez.
Yep.
I mean, she got two good middle of the main card slots for her debut, or her first two fights.
I mean, that Pearl Gonzalez fight,
That was a good one.
Very marketable.
Well, yeah, yes. But then after that was when she got.
I think that was my main event.
Show. That was your main event of UFC 210 with DC and Rumble 2.
I think so because I mean, Pearl Gonzalez was on the card.
Oh, Pearl. But yeah, I think she's been. I'd have to look at these cards specifically, but she's been on main cards most of her UFC career, and now getting main event. She's not going to be far from a title shot if she wins this. Maybe one fight after. I can't. It feels.
Just imagine if she beats Jessica, who is again the number one ranked flyweight in the world. Just came off of a championship title fight against Valentina Shevchenko. I wouldn't be surprised.
She beat Arajo. You're forgetting the Arajo fight.
True. I wouldn't be surprised if Calvillo came back and was ranked in the top 5 if she beats Jessica.
Well, yeah, she should be. Just rankings considered. But yeah, I think it depends too on depending on how she wins, she could, kind of jump the line.
Yeah.
For getting the title shot. I mean, winning, she's going to jump the line no matter what, obviously. It's just everything about this it does feel very odd, but I think it's going to be a very close and a very fun fight, actually. And, the thing is, every bad, shitty card on paper turns out fantastic. And this card is very weak on paper.
The last card that we saw, people were shitting on it. UFC 250. How fucking amazing was it? 7 of the 10 or 11 fights were finishes.
Yeah, that was...
People were shitting on Cody Garbrandt coming back. He fucking leveled up and fucking popped us on Sal. Like, dude, Sean O'Malley fucking took care of business against Gray Maynard. Like, you cannot say that
Eddie Wineland, bro.
UFC cards are not bad. They're the best. They're the best of the best. This is the most this is one of the most frustrating things to me about UFC fans, about MMA fans. UFC, this card sucks. This card is shit. Blah blah blah. No, motherfucker, it really isn't. Just because you don't see, just you don't like Jessica Ai or Cynthia Calvillo, that doesn't mean that it's not a good fight or it's not going to be a good fight. Let them fight, and then we will say it's a good card or not a good card. So far, we haven't seen shit cards from the UFC in a very long time. So shut the fuck up.
Our first Steven rant since the rebirth of the podcast. That was beautiful.
Y'all lucky that it fucking took me this long.
I know, coming right at the end here. But you're very, very right. The fans are spoiled. I mean, obviously,
Crying little bitches.
And it's fun. The funniest thing to me though is that like people never learn though, because like I said, the bad cards on paper always deliver. You know,
So frustrating.
so yeah, I don't know, but in the end, I lean towards Calvillo because of that wrestling. When it comes down to my prediction, I'm gonna take split decision Calvillo. I think it'll be close.
There it is. I think Calvillo ends the fight somehow, some way. I think that she wins the fight. I think that the UFC is trying to get the spotlight back on her because she's incredibly marketable, and I think she finds a way. I think she's always been hungry. She's just had things go wrong.
Yeah, definitely a very unique career that she's had.
Yeah.
Shout out to our man Joel with the comments saying facts on the rant, which is
Thank you,
can't
Joel.
argue.
Thank you, Joel.
Oh man. So
Man.
that was great.
Okay, so I think that's about it for this week's WMMA Today podcast, and we will see you next Tuesday at the same time, same bat channel, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, motherfuckers.
Peace.